Hi everyone, I'm John Tuck. For those of you who don't know me, I'm one of the co-hosts for Chewy. I joined in sort of March, April, and it's been an amazing journey. I'm extremely grateful to have been involved, and I'm making this recording because I want to tell you about a incredible life-changing experience that I had just 2 weeks ago. To expound the significance of it, I need to tell you a bit about my history, but I'll try and be brief. Um, Essentially, I broke my head when I was 8 years old, and I was in a coma for 2 weeks. I suffered what was assimilated to that of a stroke. I had a massive blood clot on the right side of my brain, which was removed. I lay in a coma for 2 weeks, and it turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me because if it wasn't for the experience that I've had over the last 40 years, I absolutely wouldn't be who I am in terms of what I've pursued and my pursuit of the truth. Um, anyway, to cut a very long story short, at the age of 12, because I was still growing at the age of 8, and I had stunted growth in my right side, at the age of 12, I experienced a tilted pelvis, which meant that I started to limp a lot. And between the age of 12 and 19, I had about 7 operations on my right lower limb, my right leg, in order to correct length deficiency, primarily in tendons. So I had hip tendon, Achilles tendon, groin tendon, and four tendon extensors in my toes. At the age of about 19, I got very pissed off with all of this, and I just wanted to get on with my life. So I left all of that, and at the age of 30, I revisited it, and the length deficiency was about an inch um, short in my right side. So what was recommended to me was that I had an inch removed from my left femur because it's easier to shorten than extend, and I'd already had significant spasticity induced in my right leg because of the previous operation. So I consented to this. The operation was deemed a success, but the result was deemed a failure. So I still had an apparent deficiency of an inch. Anyway, again, cut a massively long story short, I've limped for all of my life since the age of about 12. Um, I remained utterly convinced that I could find a solution, that I could walk properly again, despite all of the experts and um, so-called gurus and practitioners across the range of absolutely everything I could find, including the likes of theta healers and all sorts of chiropractic and osteopath and needles, whatever that is, can't remember. But every single time, whoever it was eventually told me it couldn't be done, and I didn't take that. I didn't take it in the slightest. I knew I could find a solution. Um, so again, to cut a very long story short, I approached a company through one of our guests, actually, Harry Rhodes, recommended that I speak to Jane at the KCR Academy, which is Kinetic Chain Release. And I spoke to Jane, and she's been doing this for like 20 years or so, and or 25 years. She now actually teaches. She's moved above, should we say, the practitioner level. But when I spoke to her, she said, this is a very, very unique case, and I'll actually see you myself, if nothing else, for a initial consultation, so that she could then refer me to one of her practitioners around Scotland. She's based just south of Glasgow. So anyway, a couple of weeks ago I went down, not really expecting too much, and she said she couldn't promise anything. As I said, I thought it was going to be just an initial consultation. But when I got there, we had a chat, and she said, "Well, do you want to go through the protocol?" And I was like, "Yes, please, nothing to lose." So she put me on the bed and she measured my legs, and she said, "Yes, you are apparently an inch shorter in your right side." And then she started to go through the process, and oh my God, I could feel every single movement, both physically and metaphysically, and I injected my own healing energy into that, and principles. But it was quite an extraordinary, very very gentle manipulation of my joints. And one of the main things that got me excited was that she said that it may be possible that she could realign my pelvis. Anyway, she finished doing the treatment and went back to measure my legs again. And bearing in mind, as I said, this Jane has been doing this for like um, uh, 20 years, and she measured my legs and she cried. She actually cried. I cried. She said, "Your legs are now the same length." I limped into that clinic and I walked out, and I'm still a bit in shock. But my point is that anything is possible if you believe. You can achieve whatever you desire if you believe, if you have faith and desire, and you go through the motions to take the tortuous path towards whatever it is. It can be no other way. So I hope this has been useful, and I look forward to engaging with you in the future. Thanks very much.